How could you kill someone you love?
Some niggas say you're not a real killer till you do.
So you ain't a real killer till you kill someone you love. It doesn't just apply to Kanan, it also applies to Juke. And in fact, if we were to rewind it back to Power, you could argue both Juke and Kanan were heartless killers. We had Kanan who killed an old lady for the sake of it, ripped out Brock's tongue for speaking out of line, and had his best friend Dre pull the trigger. Jukebox was introduced as a dirty cop. She got rid of anyone who was no longer needed, and especially those who didn't follow through with her plan. She was also someone who wanted to inflict as much pain as possible to Ghost before killing both him and Tariq. But where Juke had complete disregard for human life, Kanan did have this caring side that Juke mentioned in raising Kanan.
Shit's the best part about you, Kanan. The part that cares. Don't ever lose that.
Now, ultimately this is what eventually got Kanan killed. He cared about Tariq, but both of these characters were cold-blooded killers, and even though we haven't seen any of them catch any bodies yet, I really appreciate the time the writers are taking to strip down every single bit of layer of both Juke and Kanan before they build them up into the characters that we saw in Power. So if we were to solely focus on Juke, we know she's built for the streets, but she doesn't go anywhere near her family shit. She's lost her first love, and she was still mourning her death in season 2. She's never had a great relationship with Marvin, and she was left by her mom at such a young age. She was also nurtured by a ruthless queenpin, and one of the most manipulative liars the Power universe has ever seen, Rock. And in a time of happiness for Juke, where she finally let her hair down and where we saw her smile for the first time in a long while, Rock turned her smile upside down. So Juke really was going through a tough period in her life, and even turning to cigarettes.
What the fuck you doing smoking cigarettes, Juke?
The world didn't stop spinning when you left it.
So let's set the foundation of where we are with her character and what could possibly put her on the path of being a killer, because at this moment, she isn't. Even though she suffered so much heartbreak, setbacks, and pain, she does find herself in a moment of happiness, but also a moment of betrayal from someone who she had a real close bond with, her uncle Lou. Now in terms of her relationship with Kenya and Juke's newfound happiness, I really fear ultimately Kenya will only let her down once again. We know Juke's having a tough time with Marvin and Lou giving Ziza her song, which we're gonna come to in just a moment, but on the flip side, she found herself doing what she loves at church. Now, something I think we need to pay close attention to is how she had Corey hit on her, and Kenya watching on in the background. Now over time, I can see a scenario playing out where Corey starts to push upon Juke, and where Kenya may even encourage Juke to give him a chance, because she did say she'd love for her to meet her kids she works with, but what she doesn't know is Juke is into girls. So with church being a big part of Kenya's life, what do you reckon's gonna happen when she finds out Juke is into girls? Will she accept Juke, or will she be looking at yet another rejection from her mom, inflicting even more damage and pain to someone who's already had to deal with so much in life already? So just to add some more background and context, this is what Hailey Kilgore had to say on Juke's sexuality. I think that we are so fortunate to live in a time where people can be so loud and proud, as well as live the truth. We have to remember that in 91, you didn't let anyone know, not your parents, not your friends, nobody. So it really just tells you how much a problem it is for Juke to even come out and speak about her sexuality, because it was never accepted back in the day. Now, two perspectives we need to consider when it comes to Kenya is something Lou said and something Marvin said. Now, Lou said she was with a Knicks player and then turned around to the whole goddamn league, but Marvin said she got her sexuality from her mom and her side of the family.
Shit comes from your moms. My family got all the fuckers and heathens and shit.
But we had Detective Burke do some digging on behalf of Juke, and she said she was divorced twice with no other kids. But either way, I see this as one way of her relationship being destroyed with Kenya. But does Kenya have a leg to stand on either when it comes to Juke's sexuality, especially when she left her when she was so young? I don't think so. But I can see this being a problem, because I don't see Juke and Kenya's relationship lasting forever. Something will definitely get in the way. So as we talk about broken relationships, one which may start to take a turn is Lou and Juke. Lou's been Juke's biggest supporter since day one. He was there to give her advice. He also made it possible for Juke to get in some studio time, as well as sing at his showcase. But even though we know Juke can sing, this didn't stop Lou from giving her a track to Ziza because she can not only sing, but she can also look the part, which for a change is something that Lou and Crown agreed on. Now, Crown was just stirring shit up when he gave Juke a copy of her song remixed by Ziza because he'll do whatever he can to make Lou's life difficult in the studio. But let's not get it twisted, Lou really did Juke wrong by giving up her song to Ziza, which by the way, isn't Ziza's fault because she was none the wiser. So we really did start to see some tension grow between Lou and Juke.
I should have asked you.
And I would have said no.
Publishing money is real money, right?
So where does she go with her music career? Because if I were in Juke's shoes, I really would be a little hesitant to showcase my song in front of Crown and Lou on the fear they may take it and give it to another artist. So I really do feel sorry for Juke, especially considering this was a song that was dedicated to Nicole. Now, when we talk about people getting their first kill, and Juke ending up the way she did in Power, she didn't end up becoming a cop or a heartless killer out the blue. There are certain events and experiences that would have led Juke to becoming who she was in Power, and Juke's first kill doesn't necessarily have to be someone of significance, but one of them eventually will be, because you ain't a real killer till you kill someone you love. And I can see this being the catalyst to set her off on this dark path, which is why Ghost had fear in his eyes when he learned who was holding Tariq. We had Tommy Egan calling her a crazy bitch, and even Kanan feared what Juke was capable of, maybe because he knows what she's done in the past. So who could be Juke's first kill? Now some think Marvin, some even say Rock, which is why it was easy for Kanan to pull the trigger on Juke in Power. And then there's also the theme of father and son shootings and killings across the Power universe. So I can see why a lot of people would think Marvin. But after many have seen episode 6 trailer, some even think she could kill Famous. But let's not forget Detective Beck. Now she's someone who's getting awfully close to the truth about Howard being Kanan's father, and I wonder if Juke actually knows this because of the secrets she knows about her family. We're also wondering why Juke eventually became a cop, and no doubt Beck is someone who will have a big influence on Juke, but also someone who is currently treading on thin ice. But looking at the other perspective, she knows Rock asking Kanan to shoot a cop was fucked up. So would Juke do the same? I'm not so sure. And by the way, Juke still owes Detective Beck a favor, and we still need to see her come back for it.
You owe me.
So this is something just to keep an eye on. But with regards to Juke's first kill, it really is up in the air. But I wouldn't be surprised to see at least one of Kanan or Juke getting their first kills by the end of season 2, which may not be anyone of significance. But we do need to remember what Kanan said in Power. So with that being said, that's a breakdown of where we are with Juke and why she's such a complex character, because there are so many things happening around her. There's the issues with Marvin, and now you can add Lou. She's grown up under the guidance of Rock and lost a loved one in Nicole, and now Kenya just adds a whole nother level of complexity, and no doubt that relationship is gonna change in a heartbeat. But drop all your thoughts down below on all things Jukebox, and of course if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Let me know.